back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today, very excited to do another list video to wrap up 2023. This is the most played solo games of 2023 that were released in 2022. That's right, this list is going to be really interesting, and it's going to be more of a look-back list, and this is coming from the Rolling Solo board game community. So basically, I put out a Google form in December asking a number of questions, and this was one of them. What are your most played games of 2023 that were released in the prior year? Now, for those that are curious what this list provides in terms of value, you're going to want to check out a specific video at the end of 2022, and that was the Rolling Solo board game community's top 20 solo games from 2022. I'll put a link to that video in the top right hand corner. Go to that video, look in the pinned comment, scroll all the way down. You'll find the list of games, and then come back to this video and watch this one. Now, why would you want to do that? Because you're going to know which games were labeled as the best by the community from 2022, and this video is going to tell you which games were played the most from games released in 2022. And this is something that I think on an ongoing basis, as we do this year by year, is going to kind of provide a look back for you guys to actually compare which games fell off the radar in the next year. So in other words, they might have been pegged as the second best game of the year, and then in the following year, they weren't even part of the most played list. So that might tell you a story as to, I wonder if that game really had staying power, or if it was kind of a flash in the pan. And I think that's really valuable when you're making decisions with your money. Without further ado, we're gonna go through the top 10 right here. And if you're interested in more than the top 10, I'll have the rest, maybe another 10 or so, inside the pinned comment video description. Just be aware, it'll also spoil the entire list if you go inside the pinned comment and scroll all the way down. So for those of you that wanna find the list, that's where you can find it. If you wanna watch the video, we'll go through each of the top 10 right now, starting in the 10th position. In the number 10 spot of the most played solo games of 2023 from 2022, Nemesis Lockdown from Awakened Realms. There's a number of entries in this series now. We have the original, we have this Nemesis Lockdown version, and then there's another third iteration that hit crowdfunding this year. And that third one really proved that Nemesis still has legs, and people are still enjoying this one from a solo perspective. You can play this thing whether it's a one-off situation trying to mitigate all the nastiness that gets thrown at you and survive the aliens coming after you, or you could even do it with the Untold Stories, which kind of adds a little bit of a campaign connection, a little bit of a comic book flow through the experience. You're kind of being walked through a story element a little bit. Either way, very fun. I prefer to personally play this one in terms of Nemesis Lockdown co-op with controlling two characters, because I like having the synergies between the characters rather than just playing true solo. So from a true solo standpoint, maybe not as high on the list for me, but from a cooperative standpoint and playing that solo, I like it a lot. Number 9 spot on the list belongs to Burn Cycle from Chip Theory Games. This one really sticking around and being played a lot inside of 2023. This is going to have you infiltrating as robots into a human-run corporation, and you're trying to successfully get through each of a number of different floors and different elements of gameplay. It's very, very puzzly. So if you're looking for a game that's going to really make you think strategically about what you do and how you do it, this one is really going to get you. And once you play a couple games of it and you get the gist of what it's trying to accomplish, the layers start to add on and the gameplay really opens up as the game goes on. So it is really going to nail it for certain people, and it might not nail it for other people. But this one, based on the Rolling Solo board game community, is being played a ton in 2023. The community has selected in the 8th position Frosthaven from Cephalofair Games. This one being an epic, huge campaign game. And if you're a fan of Gloomhaven, there's going to be a lot to like here with Frosthaven. You're going to be right at home, and you're definitely going to want to go after this. Now, if you didn't like Gloomhaven, you're probably not going to find things in Frosthaven that's going to win you over. So that's worth mentioning. But what they've done inside of Frosthaven as the major focus is really taken that in-between state between scenarios and bolstered it. They've added a lot of layers of crafting and just building out Frosthaven in and of itself, and buildings, and just more to do between scenarios. So it is feeling more and more like a full-on RPG in a box. It's getting pretty crazy. So a lot to discover in this one, a lot to unlock, a lot of secrets, and a lot of fun to be had. In the number 7 position, we have Aeon Trespass Odyssey as being a very heavily played game in 2023. This comes from Into the Unknown. There is more content coming for this massive campaign game. I have covered this game on the channel as well, just like all of the games that you're going to hear and have already heard about. You'll be able to find content on them to find a better idea as to how they play and operate. So be sure to look for those videos on the channel. But this is one, if you're looking for an epic campaign game to play solo, this is certainly going to consume a ton of your time, and the community was really digging into this one and is very much enjoying it. As you can see from the review score on BGG, anything that cracks into the 9 and above territory, I mean, you're talking about greatness. As we reach the 6th position on the list of the most played solo games of 2023, we move away from campaign games into a lighter side of the equation here with Marvel United X-Men. Now, Marvel United, the original one's been around for a bit. The X-Men version, the core game, released in 2021. So the reason it qualified for this list is because all the stretch goals from the campaign finally delivered in 2022. So that's when everybody had everything. And that's, again, when everyone started really picking up the plays on this one. So as you can see, this one is very light, and that's the focus of it. Very quick to set up, very quick to play, but packs a lot of punch in terms of how much variable gameplay is buried inside of this one. So if you're looking for something quick and you like the Marvel theme, this could be completely up your alley. Welcome to the top 5 of the most played solo games of 2023, and we start in the 5th position with a game I haven't even played yet. So now I'm really intrigued by this. This is Heat Pedal to the Metal, and I like driving games. So somehow this slipped under my radar. I know I've heard the title, but I just never got around to actually playing this one. This one comes from Days of Wonder and captured the 5th spot. So another light solo game, which is really cool to see the mixture here of the really heavy games on the list, but also some light games. You see the weight over here for this one, very similar to Marvel X-Men, not complex. I'll show you some pictures because this one does not have a video that I can actually show, and I've never done coverage on the channel, so I have nothing to show you besides pictures on Board Game Geek, which might be very random, but this gives you an idea of a game that is obviously based around racing. It has hand management. It's intuitive hand management, but you'll be using that to your best advantage to try to race around the track. And of course, it looks like people have spiced this game up in a number of different ways, and you can automate cars and bring them in so that they're AI controlled, so that you can play this game solo and go through kind of a campaign situation. It all sounds really cool, and I'm definitely going to check it out. It's now on my radar, so thank you, everybody. Number 4 on the list of the most played solo games of 2023, Massive Darkness 2 from CMON Games. I definitely agree that this one was played heavily because I played this one quite a bit myself. I also incorporated everything from the original Massive Darkness into Massive Darkness 2, which was an awesome option as part of the Massive Darkness 2 campaign to get that kind of reverse compatibility packs. You can bring all of the miniatures from the first one to the second one. The first one had so much hype behind it, but it really didn't deliver on what people really wanted out of a dungeon crawler. And then when Massive Darkness 2 came out in 2022, it took what it learned from Massive Darkness 1 and all the feedback that came from the community, and they really did make it a much, much better game. You can see here it's reviewed at 8 and above now, so it's definitely in that very good to great category. And if you're looking for a dungeon crawler that has a variety of enemies to go up against and lots of twists and turns, it has cool classes now for the heroes, and it moves really, really well. This one is going to be something you can get lost in. I mean, there's a lot of content for this game. It's much more in depth than it was before, but it also isn't heavy in terms of its weight. The weight of this thing is very much in the mid tier, and that's just simply because of the vast amount of abilities and things that you have to kind of keep track of. But the actual gameplay and learning the game is very straightforward, and you'll have a lot of fun doing it. We've made it to the top 3 of the list, and each of these going forward will receive an award, bronze, silver, and gold, respectively. In the 3rd position, we have Hoplomachus Victorum from Chip Theory Games, a gladiator-based combat game. It is a campaign. So what they did was they took the original Hoplomachus entries, of which there was a whole bunch in the past. They remastered them, revised them, and then wrapped them in a campaign system that really does lean itself towards solo gaming. It's something that you can get lost in. There's a lot of depth there. There might even be too much content to get through, and it might take a lot of time to do it, but it is very rewarding as well. So if you're a solo player and you're looking at this from, Hoplomachus from a campaign angle, Victorum is definitely what you want. If you simply just kind of want to have one-off battles, remastered might be where you want to sit. So you have options, but either way, this one was heavily played in 2023. The second most played solo game of 2023, released in 2022, is Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. I am not surprised by this at all. This is a phenomenal game and was released to like ridiculously positive reviews. You can see it is 9 and above, and I agree with absolutely everything in terms of this one being a fantastic game. This is going to be around for a long time and has a lot of unique things that other games don't do, and it really nails that feel of going up against the bigger bosses and the battles that you have, the campaign that opens up, the nodes you explore, the cooldown mechanisms with the characters is so cool. You kind of have your cards kind of rotating to cool down to bring back in your hand to be used again. There's a hand management aspect. I could go on for days about how much I like this one. It's also got the full narrative, and it has an app integration you can use if you wish. Like they've covered every angle, and it's also just epic in scale. So if you're looking for something, this could be exactly what you're looking to soak hours and hours of gameplay into. At the very top of the list, the #1 most played solo game of 2023 was ISS Vanguard. This one again released in 2022 and heavily played last year. People were really enjoying this one, as you can see from the reviews on BoardGameGeek. A very highly ranked game. It's in the very good to great discussion and almost teeters into the amazing category when it hits 9 and above. But regardless, this is a game you definitely want to check out if you missed the boat on it and you're into sci-fi and you want adventure. There's all this dice play that's just extremely cool. The coil-bound book there that you go through every time you visit a planet is extremely cool. The binder that you use to manage your ship is really well done. When they originally talked about using a binder, I was very kind of, I'm not too sure that's going to work out. People think of work when they think of binders. But when you actually get to that gameplay section, it's some of the most enjoyable content of the game is when you're managing your ship. It's the most satisfying, to be completely honest. There's a lot to like here, and if you haven't checked it out already, definitely recommend you do. I've got gameplay again for everything you've seen on this list up to this one. The only one I didn't have gameplay for is Heat. Might need to happen in the future. That's going to wrap up the list, and a huge congratulations again to the publishers, designers, writers, artists, everybody involved with each of the top 3 projects, and really everyone involved with all the projects on this list. These games have all made a huge impact in the solo community, but especially the top 3. So in the 3rd position, Hoplomachus Victorum from Chip Theory Games. In position number 2, we have Oathsworn Into the Deepwood from Shadowborn Games, and number 1, ISS Vanguard from Awakened Realms, all being played extremely heavily in the year of 2023. So really excited to see how things pan out going into this year, which we're currently in 2024 right now at the very beginning portions of it. Also in the pinned comment, you're going to want to check by scrolling all the way to the very bottom. You'll not only find the 10 that I listed in this video, you'll also find additional 10 that I've put in there as well. So you'll get to see positions 11 through 20. Then you can take all 20 that are in that list and head to a video I'll link in the top right hand corner and do a comparison as to which games are on the list in one video and not in another. And you can make your comparisons between the two. Let me know in the comments below what you come out of that comparison with. I'd love to hear comments on this video and would love to see you again in the future here on the channel if you haven't subscribed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.